Who's ready for some boom, baby, boom? Yes, bless. Let's rise and shine. It's your morning marijuana motivation time. I'm your host with the mostest, Marquis Saint, and every morning I get up. Now I'm blessed to be alive. You know, it's one of these things where I'm addicted to my consistency. We had a conversation with my other partner at Intersect.ai is how we are obsessive about business, and we have that in common. It's one of those things where I told him, why else did you think I called it Saints Addiction? For a reason, is because my addictions compel me. It's a compulsion, like an OCD, obsessive compulsion. Ooh, I can smell flowers by the bridge, and it's for all of us. We all got something that we are consistently doing, and then we make it a commitment, and now we got to have this conversation, leg out Saints Addiction. So I'm here, you know, have no fear, even if it's cloudy day, beautiful gray clouds, a little bit chilly, but I love coming by this river and this bridge and just getting my stretch on and watching the river flow. And it's flowing a little bit more because obviously there's some rain coming through, and we're all going to do what we do over and over again, like literally, figuratively, and physically. We'll get into our own systems. We'll play them over and over again, just like if it was your favorite CD, you put it in the track and then you just keep hitting it on repeat. Well, what do you have on repeat? You know, besides for your music, you know, besides for your life, there's a lot of us that we just repeat the same shit over and over again and expecting different results. And then you have to ask yourself, well, if I'm addicted, what am I consistently going to? You know, that was a big thing for me. Like me in the morning, I love editing the videos. I'm looking at myself just traveling the world from Germany to Spain to Thailand. I'm just editing all these videos. I got 2 joints this morning, so let's bless up. And I'm definitely addicted to my weed, so I had to keep that. Addicted to my sex, addicted to my food. Those are my 3 bad habits. Weed, sex, and food. Or food, sex, and weed, I should say, because I like to have my food before my sex, so I got the energy. That's what she said. But it's also what comes to mind when you want something so badly that you consistently go after it. And look at this little duck just went underneath the bridge. How cool is that? I was like, what is that? It's a little duckling. Oh, cool. Consistently swimming. So there's got to be something you put your energy towards consistently. And consistency is key. So what you're going to find is whatever you fixate on starts to expand, especially in your consciousness. You know, when we secretly wish or yearn for something, we put it in our foremost thought, right? Like it bleeds, if it bleeds, it leads kind of thing. Kind of like the news, you know, we want something that just pow, right in our face. And some people are addicted to drama. They don't want to admit it, but it's like, it's the only thing that gets them out of the bed. It's the only thing that keeps them engaged. If it's like super on fire, clickbait, click on it, and now you're obsessed about it, might even talk about it, call your friends and mention it several different times. I was like that. I was like, okay, this guy just called me and told me I'm an asshole. And then I would call my friends, try to calm myself down. And it was only way I had, look at this bee trying to come through, to consistently keep my brain working for me. I felt like shit, so I'd smoke weed. Something would trigger me, and then I would spend like a half hour, an hour with my friends on the phone, almost like hostages. Like, hey, I'm going to talk about this thing till I can't feel it no more. And turns out I didn't feel better at all. You know, like it was like I'd spend a half hour with you, then call the next friend, spend 45 minutes with them, you know, do these things until I felt right inside. And then the whole day would go by, and then nothing would get produced or nothing would move forward. And this is like a lot of the reasons why my shop wasn't successful. I was too emotional for it. I was too close to it. And waking up at 10 a.m. and getting up inside the shop, waking up at 10 a.m. to open the shop, not having any showers, and then closing at 10 p.m., working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. That bitch frustrated me. And then when I got customers, I would take it out on them. And this is just me being honest. I was consistently opening up the shop, but I wasn't consistently looking at myself and my production level, right? I would be there, but then I would be calling people talking about some drama that had nothing to do with making shirts or websites or moving the ship forward, as I like to call it, it stagnated me. It literally kind of kept me on pause, because then I would pause for the cause and there was no cause at all. It was just drama, and it was whatever it bled, led, and that was what I would fixate on, almost like putting out fires. You know what I'm saying? You got a choice to wake up with a fire in your heart and a fire in your mind and a fire in your soul, or you go looking for fires and go, who said what on my Facebook, and let me make a comment back, and that person hurt me, or something else got buggy, and then I was like, it's the first thing that leads with all my energy. I'm called mais força in Portuguese, but this max force that I would give instead of to achieving something or to create something or move myself forward, I would be on the back foot or on the hind leg or tripping over something behind me, and only a fool trips over something that's behind them. So I would literally fixate on things that didn't dictate my life. I allowed them to dictate my life. I allowed them to become front page news and what do they call it? Page 6, and all the other drama and gossip and bullshit that's going on with the Hollywood stars. You know what I'm talking about. It'd always be like, when Jay-Z was sleeping with the younger girl, and then did he sleep on his wife, and what about Beyonce and all this other shit? Nobody gives a shit. That doesn't make your bills get paid. They don't give a fuck if you care or if you're fixated or just paying attention to them. Who gives a shit what Kanye West is doing or what he's wearing or what's going on with his life? The more you fixated on their life, you're consistently not focusing on what you could be doing with that energy. We don't see it that way. We just let it slip by. We're just curious creatures, and curiosity kills the cat, and it's not consistent. Cats are all over the place. They'll be all over your keyboard. They'll be knocking over your coffee. Doing all sorts of stupid shit because they're all over the place. Have you ever tried giving the laser to the cat? Yeah. All over the place. That's what it feels like for people that are distracted. And the opposite of distraction is consistency. Like if you can keep yourself on task and focused, ikagi, almost like a Japanese word, then that's where your passion goes. And wherever your passion goes, that's where it grows. Wherever you, like my spiritual mentor, Terry Prince would say, whatever you put attention on grows, right? So if you have a car, you swear it's the only car on the road. It could be a pink Cadillac, and next thing you know, all you see is pink Cadillacs because that's what you're fixated on. And like a dog, I had to create Saint's addiction for me to bite into something. And trust me, my brain wanted to run in many different directions, like too many, too fast. And that's why I started creating shirts like Chigata, yeah, baby. These ideas kept me fixated on the shirts and the creation of my shirt empire and what I was doing with my thoughts instead of, oh, something came on a whim or somebody made a comment or I wanted to get distracted. That's on me. If it's up to me, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And I had to fixate on something differently, something that would be consistently paying dividends for me that I could put in the bank and thank myself later for, instead of being distracted and letting the Netflix fucking get on, or the YouTube get on, or the drama get on. And then all of a sudden, that's what was taking the most of my focus. You could look at yourself if you look it clearly. And I don't know if you're journaling or not, but when you wake up, are you the type of person to wake up to an alarm and then you're waking up in anxiety and then you're rushing around like a firefighter trying to put out fires and thinking that you're being efficient? That's a lie. We do a lot of things to keep ourselves covered up inside. We'll do a lot of things that are distracting for us, and they call this, I don't know if you're getting the same commercials as me, but they got these commercials that are like, masturbation is another way to not reflect or to distract or to go into something else, and then you're not even focused on that. You're going in a whole nother direction that you didn't even see yet. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're just getting distracted on anything that'll come by, whether it be strangers, dogs, sunshine. You'll be just like, ooh, I'm all over the place. And I know I hear from a lot of people that they're like, I got ADHD or I got autism or whatever else is plaguing their focus. And the whole time, you get to choose the newspaper. I'm the editor-in-chief for Weed for Vegas magazine, but it was also, what was I going to let become my feature top billing, put lights and signs up and say, okay, this is what I'm going to fixate on. It's unhealthy. What I had to find was healthier alternatives to fixate on, like my gym workouts in the morning, or some way somehow getting some fresh air, getting out in nature, getting some sun on me. Not picking up my phone right up the first thing in the morning. Put my eyes towards the sky instead of a blue screen. That's been helping me tremendously. Cut my phone usage short, 30 minutes before I go to bed. Listen to those megahertz so it's all in my head, helping my brain waves function properly instead of distracting me onto something that now I've wasted 3 hours and I'll never get it back. I could be on the phone, one friend, whole hour, another friend, another hour, and then another friend for another hour. And there goes 3 hours of things that didn't earn me any dollars, didn't create any new designs, and then got me out of my mind, got me on my rhythm, and then I'm jacked up. It's almost like a fighter. You're supposed to be concentrating on the fight. I know some fighters where that's all they do. They just totally fixate on it. I was listening to Magnus Carlsen, #1 chess player in the world, and he's like, I don't do that. I want to have fun. I want to be loose. I want to be in the zone versus the guy that just doesn't sleep. And then now I'm fucking tired, and then I'm not. And then even though I studied all night and crammed my exam, I wasn't present for the finale. I wasn't all there. I'd get to my birthdays, I'd get to my travel, I'd get to my girl, and then I would try to perfect it or polish it. And then I realized I couldn't pause it. Life is not like that. You can't just go back and say, with all the money in the world, okay, you stand there in the balcony in New Orleans, and then I'll do this and I'll do that. There is no reset button. You're playing it by ear. It's almost like, what do they say? When you're in a jet, when you're flying a fighter jet, it's a fly by wire is what they call it. And that means as soon as I go, it goes. You know what I mean? As soon as I churn, it churns, And it's just like that helmet that they all see, a full 360. If you're in the F-35, it's a nice new helmet. But, you want to see the whole playing field. And not just the thing that you just obsessed on and didn't see the other missile coming from the other angle. That's what ends up happening. We're very clever creatures like that, where we're like, ooh, yeah, just give me my coffee. There goes 1 hour of the morning. And then, let me throw on the news. There goes that other hour I was talking about. And then let me call my friend. There goes another hour. And now you've slowed down your rhythm in the morning instead of being the guy that gets right up, jumps out of bed, doesn't dread, doesn't pull the blankets back over their head, doesn't hit the snooze, doesn't fucking say, okay, maybe later. You're up. And then you're in the game. And that's been my consistency for about 10, 15 years now. I got to be honest. It used to be not like that. It used to be hard getting out of bed, to be honest. And it would be like, oh my God, I got to do what now? And my attitude would change towards the production of what I was supposed to do instead of just going and just do it Nike and just making it happen, Captain. And then I'm like, and then I'm in it, and then I don't fixate on it. I heard like Jay Waller said something like that. Maybe I don't feel like working out, but if I just sit there and everybody else is working out around me, then I pick up the weights and then I get into it. My previous thought was just like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it today, so I don't do anything, okay, including initiate myself or be outside like I am right now. It's all fucked up. We do it all the time to ourselves, and we go like, okay, I can't believe she said that, or I can't believe he did that, or what's going on with somebody else's life, giving little regard to ourselves. I'm thinking to myself, when they're talking about a checkout lady, shout out to the checkout lady at Prisma. I ran out of money, or my card wasn't working. It was supposed to be $7, came out €7.34, and she paid for it. She reached out in her purse, grabbed her own card, and paid for my food. She said, sometimes you got to be nice to other humans, and then she said, I'm not that nice of a person. And I said, me neither. Saints Addiction, I keep it real. You know what I mean? Like, really real. Like, you got to be honestly flawed. And that's why it's mostly Saints, because it could be a halo or it could be horns. You never know, and or I should know, but I try to control. But it was one of those things where we all try to pretend to be more focused than we are, or nicer than we are, or virtue signaling, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. It's not true. What is true is what you do. Like what you can't undo is time, like I was just explaining, and action. So that's the number one cure for regret is action. It's just like, okay, but at least I did something. But at least I did something with my time instead of like counting my dimes, or my bank won't allow, or I didn't like what happened with my stocks, and then all of a sudden I'm in a bad mood, and that mood and attitude goes into everything else that I do, and then nothing would get done. Fuck that shit, bro. Like, I wanted to be in the game, fly by wire. I'm in the jet and it starts flying around, and just like Flight of the Navigator, if you ever seen that, it's an 80s movie, but it's really good. Like, you just like push your hand and the whole thing just swoosh and goes under the water, goes into the space, goes anywhere that you want to take it to. And it's in that calm zone, that Neville Goddard, that relaxed zone, what do they call, in the zone, right? You'll be able to say where your brain goes and what you fixate on. And I knew that I was obsessive, so I had to have something that I could just and my mom was like, Mark, when are we going to stop talking about shirts? And I said, we're never stop talking about shirts, Mom. Like, she was sick of hearing me talk about this shirts, imports, this design, what was going on with me, and what was going to be happening, and what event. I still talk about events. I still like going to events and having somewhere to sit, and a place for my friends to kick it, and a place to display what I produced, and have a chance to actually make some money instead of just hanging out. And then the 3 hours were gone from the event, or 6 hours like it was the other day, and then not sell anything. No, I'd rather have more exposure, marketing, get it on more reliable models, and hopefully get some photos back from some people. So that way I did something with my day. I didn't just sit there and watch it go by and tell myself lies and jump into the drama and fixate on things that weren't productive. To consistently zone in and stay in that zone, then you're like a pro golfer, you're like a pro boxer, you're a professional, that you can tell your brain what to focus on and shut down the negative shit. And trust me, if you ain't got no haters make me famous, you know what I mean? Like, you're not doing it right. But also, they're not going to keep your bills alive. This one guy that doesn't get along with whatever you said and cursed in your live, or wrote something that you don't agree upon, who gives a shit? I'm literally processing 30 different 1 hour videos, half-hour videos, and turning them into about 20, 30 different shorts. I don't even remember what that person posted. But at that time, if I allowed my brain to just get on that wave and then surf all that negativity and fixate on what they got going on, then for sure I missed on what I could have been getting going on, or should have been getting on, or woulda, shoulda, coulda, if I didn't allow my brain to go on a different wavelength. And this is what we end up doing as people. We just go in our minds to so many different places, if you will. You can even just close your eyes as I fall off this bridge, and close your eyes and watch your thoughts run. They call it Vipsana, I think. I say it right, Vipsana. My friend does it. He goes up to like a retreat in Thailand where you don't get to masturbate, you only get to eat vegetables, and you don't get to talk to the opposite sex. For 10 days, you don't speak. You just close your eyes and stay in a meditative state and watch how your brain flickers. If you're Freud, if you ever watched the Freud movie, I think it was on HBO, where they remade the Freud movie. But he said your consciousness is like a house, and you watch the candle flicker to and from each different room, and some rooms get no light, right? This is like our really deep secretive stuff, and that we get embarrassed if anybody knew about it. And trust me, we all have an attic in our home. But this home is usually built by like an 8-year-old. This is a guy that or girl that developed a home, how they were going to develop their emotional resiliency, like how they were going to process anxiety, and how they coped with responsibility and all these other things. That's what we do at 8 years old. We go like, okay, when this happens, then I'll act this way. Maybe I'll shut down. Maybe I'll run away. Maybe I'll forget and pretend like it, and deny and live in denial for the rest of my days. That's up to you. Lao Tao Kun. You can play it that way, but once again, rest assured, it won't be that way. And this is why I'm having this conversation this morning. Motivation is because it's one of those things where you have so much power to put your brain onto things that you really want to grow, instead of fixating on all these other little things that aren't going to matter in 5, 10, 15 years, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 months, or 15 years later. You're not going to give a shit about that, but you have lost that time. And this is why it's so important to get consistent and compulsive about something that will benefit you in the long run. If you're going to sit there and let it just capture your attention, make sure that it pays rent. Make sure it doesn't get to just live up in your head for free and be the next 3 album CD, and then that's all you have is on repeat. You can choose to put it somewhere else. Like I choose to be here during the summertime and put myself somewhere else where there's fresh air and fresh water and fresh friends and I can expand my mind. I can edit my vids, and I can go into Opus Clip and do video in a sec and start making my dreams into a reality. If it wasn't for my team at Inisec, we wouldn't even have post in a sec. You know, like I literally said, I wanted to drag, drop, and post. Sure as shit, that's what it does. You go right to Google Drive, drop all the dogs on shirts, and guess what? It just dripped. It posted for me. It did the words and the hashtags. It was automatic. It did it on multiple accounts for me, and I didn't have to do that much, but just sit and put fucking images in a drive where it was already organized. So you can ask yourself how you're gonna play it, but you're also going to get the results of the way you play it. And this is where it becomes accountability. And only us as real human beings that are woke and say like, okay, yeah, I really did smoke all my own weed. Who's to blame? Yourself. You know what I mean? Hold up. And then I know friends that need to wash their clothes or do their dishes or get shit done, and then they're like, oh well, I was drinking or I was out too late or I'm hungover, and then nothing gets done. It's a catastrophe that all of us need to be aware of and make ourselves consistently. Look at my boys here. Look at my boys. They want to chill and hang out with me. Look at them. Yeah, see, I told you, got that energy. Come on, boys, it's your turn to smoke. Join Weed Club. But that's what it is. Consistently exercise, consistently focus, and consistently have goals. So that way, whenever those times come up and they want to distract you and make you fixate on things that aren't important, then you can get right back to it. And Huva Poika, keep going. Huva Poika. Yo, look, they want to hang out with me, bro. They're hanging out. Consistently keep showing up. Consistently hang out with your friends. Consistently go outside. Consistently exercise, and consistently complete tasks that you know. They're turning back around. The fucking. They don't want to hang out with me. You guys don't want to smoke. It's your turn. I'm passing the joint. But yeah, you're only gonna get this day to wake up. You know, I don't know when these guys are ever gonna wake up again. But like, you look at it and it's just like, yeah, better do something with your now. You know what I mean? The power of now is real. If you haven't ever got the chance, read it. It's an Eckhart Tolle book, and Eckhart Tolle was the motherfucking man, dude. I like the way that he speaks. I don't like his voice, but like most people want to kick it with me. I told you I'm the coolest guy I doubt. But I consistently go outside. I consistently go live. It's made myself more dependable. I can depend on me to do something for my mentality and for my business and for things that I want to do, instead of fucking fixating on what other people think or what they're staring on or where they stop on the bridge and anything else they want to do with their life. I don't leave my zone. I keep it in my zone, and it keeps me brave. It keeps me intrepid. It keeps me going on. So that's why I don't leave into a fear zone. Like when I'm talking to a hot model, I'm consistent. I consistently talk to hot models or future reliable models, and it's just I know my pitch. Same when I do my phone calls for Inisec.ai. They're cold calls, but I know my pitch. I know what I'm going to say. I can have it on auto dial, just sit there and go, okay, cool. Then I put in that hour. Then I made my 20 phone calls, and I consistently do it during the week. So at the end of the week, I made 100 phone calls. Boom, baby, boom. So you can keep leading yourself to a comfortable level where things ease up on you. But the only way I knew how to ease up on my own life and my depression and fixation and compulsions was to make it a goal. Like this, like my joint. It's like, you can go smoke your joint if you go for a walk, okay? You know, a little carrot in front of the donkey, if you will. We all need something that pulls us through and doesn't keep us in our own brains, in our own way, and not and just fixating on things that aren't positive, aren't productive, and aren't going to move the ship forward. You got to get a chance to get a control on that ship and that handle, little little, I don't know if anybody remembers the Atari handle, and then start pressing the button. Pretty much we're all like little monkeys where our brains just want to push the button. Like, let me just go laze around. Well, you could take naps, but you won't get those hours back. Sangar, what's up, brother? I see you. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. Tell them how old you are, where you're from. I don't even know. But he's been consistently watching me. And then my buddy Tanner, he's like, it won't let me like your stuff. And I don't know why. And I said, well, make a comment right now. And he made a comment on some of my lives. And I said, yeah, I can see it. So it's like, I guess you got to make comments more than thumbs up, but whatever. Subscribe, share it with a friend. It's working. You know, people are like, man, you really are a social media master. And it was just like, man, I've been doing this for 15 years. Back when it was MySpace, back when it was Friendster, back when it was Periscope, way before it was ever a YouTuber or anything else people be saying like shit like that. You know what I mean? They'll be like, you're a YouTuber. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm a Periscoper, actually, you know? Or maybe I'm just social. I personally am an extrovert. For friends that are introverts, they like to go back and watch my shit and be okay, I didn't get in trouble, but my boy did. And then they go promote me. Get this ash out of my beard, you know, promoting my shit, and it's been growing consistently, you know, because I consistently put out new footage, and I consistently do things with my life. And I wonder if these people are gonna kick it too. I consistently just keep moving my shit forward so I can thank myself later and be like, you really did what you said you would do, and that reinforces you. That's called discipline, and getting addicted to discipline is a good thing. Otherwise, you're gonna get addicted to distraction, and we already know what happens. You know, nothing happens actually. You just waste your time. You just waste your life, and you waste your vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all fucked up. So why act that way? Why live in those moments when you could be living in extreme power, extreme creativity, and extreme destinations? But you didn't want to fixate on that. You were like, oh man, it just would cost too much, and you checked yourself out, or it's going to be so much time. Yep. I put 10,000 hours into this to be a professional in the print game, and to print my logos and make other people's logos, and then make a system. 100 different Instagrams. Have you set up that? I think it's actually more like 125 Instagrams that I've set up. Would you consistently do that? Now I own Shirts for Cats. You know what I'm saying? And it's ready for me because now I got Sight in a sec, and now I got Post in a sec, and then I get Voice in a sec, and now it answers the phone while I sleep, and it posts for me while I sleep, and it fucking creates while I sleep. I fucking love this thing. You know, I mean, you really should check it out. InnoSec.ai. We're fucking killing the game, dude. AI's the shit. And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to stay focused on something. Behold, you have a lot of power inside of you. And this is coming from your boy Dale Carnegie when he first taught Napoleon Hill. Behold, that power of your mind and being able to fixate on things that will be procreate, then you will see life grow in front of you. Then you will see this unlimited power, this limitless, almost like the movie, to go anywhere you want to go, do anything that you want to do, just because you said so. Look how fucking perfect that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a mind to action, you know? And somebody that can take action, bro, they're unstoppable. Indomitable, unstoppable, unfuckwithable. I should make a shirt. Because that's what it is. I wouldn't allow dead babies to take my focus. I wouldn't allow dead love to take my focus. And I wouldn't allow dead relationships to take my focus. If it ended, it ended, and then I got to move forward, and that's what ended up happening. I knew that if I spent too much time fixating, then it would just take me in the years of depression on years that I didn't have. And trust me, I spent years in depression, so I'm a depression survivor. So this is how I beat it. This is how I beat the funk on a nasty dunk. Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk. You know, you got to get after it. And only because you take action and then you start placing the bricks. You know, a king builds the castle with the bricks thrown at him. You know, if you put the bricks up and you started to make a wall, soon enough, I had a whole fucking bridge, y'all. I had a whole bridge that I built from where I was all the way into Las Vegas to where I am now, all the way in Finland, 3-time world traveler, and been around the world and speak multiple languages and have a worldwide business. You know what I'm saying? It's all happened. And you make it happen, Captain. And before it was created, I placed my pebbles and my bricks and my wall in a certain direction. I said, I want to get away from it all. I don't want to be funky in my bed the next morning over and over again, or hungover, or feeling like shit. That wasn't for me. I wanted to be free. And now I am. And now look, you can see what I see, bro. It's a fucking fantastic being to be alive, to be able to feel my skin, to be able to exercise, you know what I mean? To be free enough to be next to the water and not have a boss, and make my own income from my dreams. And it's a blessing. So I sit here by this river on this bridge because I built it. And you can build it too if you want to fixate consistently on something that's a goal for you. And that's your morning's motivation. If you got anything out of this, hello, you already know. Like, share, subscribe below. But as always, peace and love and chigatan. Yep, chigata. That means goodbye, but not forever in Phoenix. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, subscribe. But the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world, because that's where I be. Peace. So lovely. Yep. I love my life.